projector, and then if they saw him and grabbed him, he died. And there's a bunch of like civilian ones walking around. So it's just like, to the one player, it's this huge giant head like looking in windows and like a blinking eyeball looking to find them. And he's like trying to act casual as like the eyeballs looking at him. Like that was pretty interesting. The art didn't do it justice because it was like default Unity blocks and stuff. But like, yeah, that could be pretty cool. I want to see whoever made that game, make that again, but fancier.
Good.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. Pretty.
Yeah, hire another artist. I mean, like in addition, more manpower, not like.
Not a different artist, but another artist.
The more we talk, the worse it's gonna get.
Right, Rachel, ideal horror.
Yeah, I actually really like horror things that like send shivers down your spine instead of making you like scream and like feel really scared. So I really like things like I guess like Cthulhu horror or like Lovecraftian horror. Some of the horror RPGs also do it, and I feel like the lack of I'm terrible at shooters. Any sort of shooting I cannot do, and like being that bad at shooters actually kills some of the horror experience in horror shooter games. Because it's like, no, I know I'm gonna die, and I'm just gonna have to replay this all the time.
If you die once, it's not scary, right?
Yeah. So I feel like I tend to like things that are it's more chilling, and you usually don't really die, or if you do die, it's still scary because it left the chills down your spine, and that's not really gonna go away. So
more
anything,
atmosphere kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like atmosphere is pretty important in those sorts of things. That's generally what I like. As for making it, I don't know. It goes back to the once you make it, it's not really scary because you were part of that process. Yeah.
Chris?
I don't even know where to begin. If I didn't have to make it, I would make PT into a full game, but with more of a lengthy narrative to it.
Resident Evil 7?
Yeah,
basically. Resident Evil 7 definitely took that, but
Or Visage on Steam.
didn't have the atmosphere.
There's just something about I think the slow reveal of what's actually going on in a world is really exciting, especially if it gets more if you want it to be a horror game, if it's more horrific as you explore more and more. One that I don't know if you guys would consider it, but Inside, its story, the arc, it just gets really dark. You're something's off, and then you're something's really off, something's really off. You should. I know. I haven't played that yet. You need to play Inside. Did you play?
Yeah, I know. It's I got a list. I've been indie gaming for a long time.
Did you play Limbo?
Some of it, not too much.
Yeah, so it's the same makers from them, but Limbo is also really good. But the reason I like their games is that there's not a single line of dialogue or text or tutorial or instruction, but there's an entire narrative and the entire you could play it from beginning to end, and you'd be telling a person a story, and if you ask them how do you know what the story was, they'd be like I don't know. There was never text, but you should definitely play Inside. It's also, they ported it to mobile, both games, so you can also just download it on your phone. That was an interesting example of swipe controls that just felt really intuitive, because again, the game, they never tell you how to play the game. So you start the game and it's just the screen there, and you're I don't know what to do, and you take your thumb and you're to the right, and you're oh, I'm moving to the right. Do I want to go up? Oh, I go up, and it was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those games are really good, but that's a little off track. But yeah, I think I would just make a full-blown PT, which I know is Resident Evil 7, but they made it Resident Evil 7 instead of Silent Hill, which is what it was originally supposed to be. So that and the world.
I'm planning on getting, I don't know if it's a Visage or Visage, but it looks like another Resident Evil, let's make that, let's make PT, right? So it might be cool, but I always suspect that experience was super cool because it was really tight.
Yes.
How do you make that?
Exactly. If I didn't have, that's why I prefaced that with if I didn't have to make the game, that's what I would make. Because to make that good, the only way, it's like the Mass Effect issue where it's let's make this huge branching story. How do we end it? I don't know. We'll just make it different colors at the end.
Could you do vignettes? You think? Why not? Pete, that could be episode 1 and then episode 2.
I would love an episodic PT. Because then that gives developers, you could take 8 months and make one small, tight thing. You're not this huge, you don't have to QA a huge thing.
It's totally unrelated, just a different person.
You're just here's this world, now we gotta make that.
Yeah, but I mean, they're gonna make the PT, pachinko machine.
Oh,
We'll never get the full
no.
game.
Man.
I'm so salty about
We will
that.
actually never get the
What's
full
that game coming out that has?
Stalker,
Yeah.
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Death
Yeah,
Stranding.
yeah.
That looks incredible.
Yeah.
But that's
I'm
the little like.
excited for it.
I don't know if you've seen this, but
No, I haven't.
It's about delivering Amazon packages, I'm pretty sure.
Death-
with a baby.
Actually-
Wait, what is Death Stand?
Death
Death
Stranding.
Stranding.
Death
Yeah.
Stranding.
That one I'm really excited about
I'm
as like
excited,
a scary
yeah.
game.
Norman Reedus and Leah Sado and Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh,
And the reason that
Playing
that's
I thought you were gonna
themselves.
say
Yeah, yeah.
starring Norman Reedus and his fetus.
Whoa.
Okay, there is a baby in the
all-
trailer. Yeah, they all
they-
have. They're
they
carrying
carry around a
around.
baby in like a.
Well-
But we're
appendix
still not sure
on
why.
Well-
Because it has magic powers that they lets them.
Isn't
I don't
there
know.
also
Do a
there's a
thing.
baby inside of him, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that Mads Mikkelsen? Wasn't that a metaphor?
It might have been,
I don't
but we don't
know.
know.
Yeah.
We don't
Like,
know.
he
There's
sunk
just
and
been
then they,
teaser
like,
trailers.
make
Wait,
him-
yeah,
the trailer
yeah.
is
The
bonkers,
camera goes
yeah.
into his.
Yeah, and then
his
there's like a
mouth,
baby
and
that
then
like
there's a
gives
baby
you like a thumbs
inside.
up
It's like-
or something.
No, it's not a thumbs up stuff. It's like
Yeah.
there's like
Yeah.
a weird.
Yeah.
It's so
and then
Well,
you like
we-
zoom back out.
Yeah.
We have YouTube rigged up, so maybe after we play, we get to IMMURE, maybe we'll
It's
Yeah.
worth checking out. It's
Is it?
definitely,
It's definitely
it
interesting.
looks really cool. It's like
and,
a movie.
and
It
it's
looks
all
so
and it all
good.
came out of the reason PT got canceled.
Yeah.
Was,
Yeah.
with
Okay.
Kojima.
Guillermo
or-
del Toro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kojima, yeah.
Del Toro got axed from like the PT and all that stuff, and then he went and he's like, "Fine, I'll do my own thing." Apparently, him and Norman Reedus are friends.
Yeah,
'cause
bros.
Norman Reedus was
Yeah, they're
supposed to
supposed
be
to, yeah.
the PT character in
Yeah.
the new Silent Hill like
Oh, wow.
character. It was a big thing. They like announced it at like Comic-Con or something. They were like,
Yeah.
"He's gonna Norman Reedus, your Walking Dead guy, is gonna be like in this when like everything was like happening at the same time."
Yeah.
And now he just like shows up in this other game, but. I think it's exciting because it's it looks like it's really utilizing like the next gen consoles and all of the graphics. Like I don't know.
It's using the Decima engine.
I've heard it described as like without his publisher now
Oh.
Kojima can do weird stuff. Because
Oh,
Kojima's
yeah,
always
he's
been
like-
sort of weird.
Oh yeah.
And
It's
like-
definitely weird.
Yeah, the
people-
publishers are like-
people had considered that like Konami was sort of a control, like an influence that got him to make a game with like a through line and like to make it like a Metal Gear Solid sort of, and like that's gone. So he's like, there's a baby in your pocket and inside you, and it's just like super crazy.
It's
So
so
yeah.
weird.
yeah.
Okay.
Like,
It was
he
definitely-
also he wanted to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, I feel like he had these like crazy
Yeah.
ideas, and
Yeah.
he's like now putting them into like video games.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is like his little golden touch. Like he tutored the two guys that made the recent It movie.
Oh, I
Like,
didn't
yeah,
know
like
that.
'cause they worked on Mama. That was like with him. Like man,
I'm curious what his
oh,
involvement is with the game. Like maybe he's
Yeah.
doing stuff. I don't know. I
Apparently-
know he's like a character, and or at least
No, apparently he was like at this. He was like doing design work, and he like worked design on another game. It was like some weird backstory. Where he's been in games for a while, but like very lately.
yeah, but yeah. I'm curious.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
Do we know if it's going to be a PS4 exclusive?
It's definitely
It tends
PS4.
to
I don't
be.
know if it's an exclusive.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
they
was
just
just
keep
keep marketing
marketing
it
it
through
through there.
Konami thing though. Yeah, like I have no idea. What
Yeah, probably.
I'm just curious. I hope it gets out there because like there's a lot of those games where it's like it's just an exclusive on one platform or another, and then you're like, well, I can't. Or
Yeah.
Sad.
yeah.
Sorry, going through, making sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's time for IMMURE.
Yeah,
So-
so check out this
Yeah, so
failed Kickstarter, guys.
Still got a chance.
Yeah.
Still got
so
a
you're
couple
saying
days.
there's a chance. Yeah, so Doyle, go ahead and
Yeah,
Tell us
so
about
this
it.
is a trailer
Okay.
for an indie game I've been working on with some guys for the past over 3 years. And we just released a demo, which is an expensive demo. It's over an hour, almost an hour and a half long. And we released the demo in September, and the response has been actually really awesome. Like, overall, just super, super positive. So, Kickstarter's not really working out. We'll see what shakes out of that. But the demo is free. You can download on itch, Steam, Game Jolt, all the internets, and yeah, play it. Let us know what you think.
If you pledge $10,000 today, Doyle will come to your house and say what's up.
Yeah, I might do that.
He'll sit with you. One-on-one tutor session on game
I'll
design
teach you
and art.
Unity and
yeah.
yeah.
So there you go.
Or I'll just
Now's
scare
your
you.
chance.
I'll just hide in your closet and
Yeah.
scare you randomly. For
It's gonna be like that dark web game where they're just like,
Yeah.
they're just on their
Yeah.
computer. You just like throw a
Don't
rock,
break
break their
the
window.
For 15, he will kill you for real.
Yeah. Hey, you're from the rest of me.
All right, so here's the trailer for IMMURE. Let's see, make sure it plays. There you go, we got it up.
As you can see, it's a 2.5D horror. It's a psychological horror with a hide mechanic and amnesia-style AIs. So here he's hiding, and the character is stalking him. It's sound-based, so the AI actually tracks you by sound, which is kind of cool, and lighting, so they can see the light source. The music, some of the themes you can tell is like harkening back to like Silent Hill, or influenced by a lot of like old school horror games. This is the shining trapezohedron, which is your light source in the game, but you use it to pulse the environment to reveal clues, kind of like stains and scars from the past. Weird NPC characters, yeah, which are also AI driven.
Oh man.
You're pretty. Oh jeez.
There's a lot of really weird and bizarre characters. It's, kind of Twin Peaksy, inspired by a lot of different things. So, yeah, go to our website, immurgame.com. It has all the links to where you can download it. And yeah, let us know what you think. If you download it, please give us a review like on itch. We almost have a perfect score. Pretty exciting.
Very cool. So, how'd you guys get the idea of doing that?
Yeah, so our programmer, this is kind of like his baby. It's all of our babies, but his initial baby, and then we co-opted his baby.
He has inside his body,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. So it says he had built like a little prototype. We were working on another game for like a year before that. That fell apart, and we were almost gonna like dissolve. And he's like, "Well, I've been building this other thing." I'm like, "Oh, let's see it." And he had this like 2D, like pixelated, horrible programmer art character running around.
What do you mean by programmer
Yeah.
art?
Hey. Well, you're an artist.
Hey, that's true.
He's not an artist. But it was pretty cool because the whole foundation was that he had real-time lighting working with 2D sprites in Unity, so he did like pretty cool shader that
Nice.
the sprites received shadows and they would also cast shadows. So like the character in the game is 2D sprites, like a lot of the environment pieces are 2D sprites. So we're like, that looks sweet. Let's make good art and then craft like he already had a lot of the story, but we all helped shape that more. And so a lot of inspiration by Lovecraft. The shining trapezohedron is like directly from Lovecraft, so we're inspired by that, and a lot of influence from Silent Hill, like the creepy characters, and a lot of the atmosphere and kind of the music sound comes from that. And then we have like a Resident Evil style inventory management system where you like combine the bullets and like you have a bunch of items, but in our game, spoiler, we have like actually useless items too that you can pick up. So you're like, oh, I got this broken flashlight. Can I do anything with it? And you're like, by the end, you're like, no, it's worthless. So it's kind of like you get a bunch of items and you don't know like what you should keep and drop or like what you might need later. And and then there's a bunch of different ways to complete it. So the last chapter or the first chapter in the demo that you can play, you kind of go to the intro and then there's like the hub world, and the hub world leads to all these different chapters. And each one is like its own sort of like nightmare, like personal hell that could be different from any of the other ones. They're all tied to this like mansion that the player is like stuck in, and we wanted like a player choice to be a huge thing. So the Wraith you can either kill him or save him is the premise. And there's like 2 different avenues to accomplish that. And the environment's sort of like sandboxy. So you could, like for example, you could get to the roof and maybe like, find some items to later drop down through a hole in the ceiling, or like do something and unlock the front door. There's a lot of different like roundabout ways to solve like the same problem, which is kind of cool. We spent a long time building that out. So, yeah.
You talk about the title.
Oh, IMMURE?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we initially had a title that was pretty cool, but super controversial. And I was like, we cannot call it this. We will be. Maybe we should have. We probably would have funded our Kickstarter. It was, yeah.
Or are you allowed? Do you want to say, or are you?
I'll tell you guys later.
Okay, off stream. All right, yeah, we're gonna have a great time finding out what
it's just
5,000, you get the title.
Priced out there 50,000.
50,000. Yeah.
It just sounded really messed up, and it could trigger people. So I was like, we can't go with that.
Trigger.
Yeah.
Trigger.
I'm gonna buy the game and then delete it. I'll show them.
But we brainstormed a bunch of names, but we still wanted to like have a name that meant like almost the same thing that we had before, and like just Theosaurus, looking up all these different words, like demented words that we could find, and we came across IMMURE, and IMMURE means to be held, like basically to be imprisoned or held against your will, which is sort of summed up what our original title was. So it was like crazy, and it's a cool word, and there's no game called IMMURE, so we're like, sweet,
cool.
Sounds, people remember it because they're like,
yeah,
what the hell is this word?
Right.
And people like have like Googled it, and they're like, oh, I actually looked that up, and I learned a new thing.
Yeah.
Cool. That'll be $5, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Donate to the Kickstarter,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. Very cool. So we did get a couple more questions in. With horror games being maybe the most intensive about getting immersed in the experiences, where do you see the genre going, maybe within the next 10 years?
Oh, definitely VR, I think, is the space.
10 years?
As VR takes off more, like, having a horror experience, it's like going to a haunted house, right? But you can just be in a haunted house all day long if you want. And or it's sort of like doing The Basement, like, where it's this extreme haunted house scenario, but it's...
Like, I want to do that, but I kind of don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I don't want to do it, but I kind of like want to know.
You want to know if you can make it through it, right? Like that's what horror is all
Okay, so
about.
maybe like a couple of us. Oh, it's only 2 at a time, right?
Well, no, now it started off like that, and that was like the first 2 years. I went like maybe the 3rd or 4th year. Yeah, and it was they had like group sessions, so it was like they were running like 10 people through at a time. It was still pretty like crazy, but not near.
No, it's super different to me. But like, I just went the other night.
You went to the basement?
No, I didn't go to the basement, but I went
Okay.
to the upstairs to the scare house, and like, yeah, like when you're alone with just your friends, it's way more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just like some random dude behind you, like it's just like like laughing at the, because people like laugh through it to get through it. It just
It takes you out of there.
Yeah, you're just like, oh god, yeah.
Yeah. So when I went through with a bunch of people, it was like a asylum scenario, and so like they partnered us up with like a random group. So it was like our group and another group, and they like right off the bat they're like hold hands with someone from the other group. So you're just like holding a stranger's hand. I'm like, that's kind of weird. And then they
Gets you uncomfortable though.
it does. And the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah,
thing
you're
is to
off.
like put you uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They brought us in this asylum and then like chained us down to these beds, like stretcher beds.
Okay, never mind.
And then
I don't-
rolled us.
No, I'm
And
good.
yeah, they rolled us into these different random rooms with a different person from the other group, and then like we'd go through some crazy scenario, and then like strap us back, and
Oh my
yeah.
god.
But that's the tame version.
Oh.
That's like the last
Oh.
time I went. Like that, I was like, man, this is weak sauce. Like get rid of the other stuff.
So you're chained to a bed
Yeah,
with
you're
another
being
person,
like-
and you're being shoved in different scenarios, and you're like,
yeah, and that's tame.
you're like, I need more.
yeah, I was like, this is weak. No, I haven't
Oh
gone
my
since
God.
because I was just like, I thought it was so watered down.
Right, you're next level, man. All right.
Yeah, but the first one ended in the hospital, right? Like the real hospital.
Yeah.
No,
These
the
aren't
first
actors.
time was
Yeah.
really messed up. The second time it wasn't as bad, but it was still pretty crazy. Like at one point they put like a bag on your head and then like make you like grab a rope and you just have to like go through like a room and there's like dudes coming up like grabbing your legs and stuff and like hitting you with like soft things, but just like yelling at you the whole time.
Like
screaming
wiffle ball bats or like.
And I mean, like maybe just like a little something like filled with cloth or something, you know. But you're just
Okay.
like, Jesus Christ, you know, you're.
Yeah, right.
It's like the bag on your head. This is dude's full noodles.
Coming up
Because
with
if
two
you
of
can
them.
see it, then
You're like,
no
this
one
is
can
hilarious.
see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it pushes you like
Oh
past
my
the limits,
God.
you know.
And do they still think it's the alternate experience at Comedy House where you just watch the window?
Well, they do have cameras, and so when I did
Oh,
the science study, like when
Yeah.
we were backstage for the test, we could see the cameras and like people getting freaked out, and the guy came with us and filmed us the one time, but yeah, like I got saran wrapped, and this guy made my friend stab me in the back with like this knife that retracted, but then
Yeah.
shot blood all over me. Like,
God.
it's crazy.
Okay, so I want to go and watch. So I want to know the people and the controlling the camera. I don't want to go through that. That sounds crazy. Okay, we got a couple questions. Let's see. Oh, Gareth says IMMURE looks neat. So give to the
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
10K, man. That's
Bill says, is there a sequel to I Expect You to Die or an add-on? So, there's still a lot of conversations going on within the studio about I Expect You to Die. I believe Jesse, our CEO, said a little bit more in that Variety article about the sword combat game that we're working on. He also talked about a little bit of other things that we're working on in the studio. So if you find that Variety article, you can read about what Jesse believes we're doing with that title and a couple others. Andrew asks, are there any plans for PAX East 2019 to show off anything new or current projects? Hearing rumors, dates, badges go on sale next week. So we would love to get back to PAX East. I loved going to PAX, and we showed I Expect You to Die, and then a couple years before that we showed Orion Trail. And did we show anything before that, Jill?
No, that was it.
Okay, that was it.
Yep.
So so it would be ideal to get back to PAX East for 2019. For what we would show is yet to be determined based on the projects that we're working on. There's a couple of ideas that we have in mind for that. So if you stay connected to us on Facebook, Twitter, and our newsletter, we'll be sure to tell you, one, if we're going to PAX East, and two, what we're going to show. Let's see. And then, Jill shared the Variety article, which is, it has a lot of good information that Jesse wanted to share. See, Jeff, good to see you too. Let's see. So so one of the things that we talked about before, and keep sending some questions. We're probably going to stick around, maybe close to 8. So if you have anything pressing or anything that you're just curious about in types of horror, Schell Games, or devs of what they're working on, feel free to ask. That's why we do these things. Let's see. Andrew, wait, a sword fighting game? A sword fighting VR game? Looks at Vive. So that's good. I won't say too much else about that. So another thing that we talked about before going on stream is what type of horror movies could have inspired different horror games. And you mentioned Aliens, but are there any other movies that come to mind, or just horror movies that you like in general? We can kind of switch gears just a little bit.
Yeah, like Dawn of the Dead. I know the old school zombie movies inspired Resident Evil. Like that, they were basically trying to recreate that. And the first one even had live action cutscenes. The original Resident Evil did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like black and white.
And Dead Rising and like a tidal wave.
Oh yeah,
of
tons of
games,
zombie
yeah.
games, but like what created
Yeah.
the genre was out of zombie films, right?
Out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, right here.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, with
Don't
George
tell us
Romero.
Monroeville.
What's up?
Monroeville's Pittsburgh. Just,
Yeah, that's right.
Technicalities.
Close enough.
Technically, it's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some people who even was like, oh yeah, and like I grew up in Pittsburgh. It's like, oh yeah, where? Greensburg. That's not Pittsburgh.
No.
But
That's Greensburg.
it's Greensburg.
It's Greensburg.
Greensburg, actually.
It's got a name.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But Monroe was actually much closer than Greensburg. So
Yeah.
I'll take that. But any other or horror games that you or horror movies that you guys did you guys see the new Friday 13th
Halloween?
or Halloween?
Yeah.
I get them mixed up all the time. It's
Yeah,
super
it's
bad.
same.
But,
I've
oh,
seen a lot of bad Halloweens.
Yeah.
I heard
So
the
I
new
think-
one's decent.
I heard
but I
that,
haven't watched
but
it.
I'm too.
I can't watch them because I've already seen it 1,000 times. I'm like, it's probably the same.
Yeah.
Could be good, could be bad.
Even if
Yeah.
it's really good, it would take so much for me to overcome seeing a handful of awful Halloween movies.
I've been on a Dario Argento kick lately, watching his movies. I don't know if you heard of him. Italian, Suspiria,
Oh, okay.
Phenomena.
Yeah.
And I watched Phenomena recently, and that is I knew Clock Tower was pretty influenced by, it, but
Yeah.
it's straight up Phenomena.
It's a remake.
It's the
Yeah.
character. In the beginning he kills someone with the
Giant
shears, and there's just a lot of scenes and stuff that
Yeah.
were stripped from that. So that was one of the that's a horror game on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
One of the first horror
Yeah.
games.
It might be just because it's so recent, but It Follows had a big effect on me, and I don't know. I feel like it's because there's one jump scare that's not even a jump scare. It's like a kid throwing a ball at a window, and it's irrelevant to the entire plot. And all the horror is the
It's that creeping
quality
constant.
horror,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where it's anxiety,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And a lot of games now that are horror games, because of probably YouTube, they do rely on the surprise to be scary, and I expect soon there's gonna be a response to that where there's more plotting sort of anxious horror games.
Yeah.
I love me some anxiety, So,
There's a Call of Cthulhu video game coming out tomorrow, maybe?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
There's there's tons of
Yeah.
Lovecraft inspired.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
much horror is inspired by Lovecraft.
I mean, I liked the old. This is probably blasphemous. I liked the old Call of Cthulhu game from
the Xbox one?
I had a
the
PC.
Deep
but-
Ends of
Dude,
the
that was
Earth
great.
Yeah.
something.
Oh, okay.
It's
because
buggy as hell.
it's buggy and it's not really Lovecraft because they show you all the monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
the
never.
first
It's
person
like,
one?
what is
Yeah.
this?
There's
I
a
mean, you
giant
see Jan
mermaid.
Saab and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see that, I thought.
It is, but I guess rereading his stuff a lot. It's so strong because all of it is it's stuff you can only do in writing, where it's
Yeah,
it's
it's undescribable.
unimaginably,
Yeah.
it's indescribable, right? So
Yeah.
that's scary. And then as soon as they're indescribable, but it's green,
Yep.
and it's about size of a bus, and then it loses the effect. But yeah, no, I want more of that, or it's.
What was
Yeah.
Eternal Darkness?
Oh yeah.
That is a great game.
Isn't there a successor to that in Kickstarter?
No, that failed. Yeah.
Oh.
It looked awesome too, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you played Eternal Darkness. It's
I
straight up
haven't played it.
inspired
It
by
is
Lovecraft.
Meta
Well,
horror.
I need
Yeah.
to look this up.
So, spoilers for Eternal
Yeah, I mean
Darkness.
it's
Yeah.
famous for it.
It's
but-
a decade old. So
That's fine. Oh, okay, that explains
More than
why
that,
I
right?
played it.
don't scare me.
It's like
yeah,
2
15,
decades
yeah.
old.
So
2 decades old?
It's GameCube.
Yeah.
Was this made before I was born?
No.
I don't
It's
know.
it's 05.
Okay.
But
Okay, that's
you-
not 2 decades old. Okay.
You'll be playing on your GameCube, and you get to a part
Okay,
with
okay.
zombies, right?
Game.
And then as soon as you enter the room, you have a fear meter.
There's a
If
fear,
you
yeah.
see too much that's scary, your fear goes up.
Okay.
But when it's high, and you
The
enter a room
screen's
with a
like
zombie,
warping and
Yeah.
so you're walking around. It's it looks like you're drunk almost all
Yeah.
the time.
Okay.
so the character's head blows up,
Oh.
right? And then
Okay.
you panic, you're like, am I dead? And then the game turns off because your GameCube just crashed. So you're like, so you probably lost all your progress. So it's GameCube comes up, Nintendo, and you get the main menu and the theme, and you go to the menu and you hit load game, you go load game, and they're all gone. And your game file's corrupted. And you're like, what? And you try and load them, and it's file corrupted, and then the game does this, and you're just back in the room again because it was all fake.
Oh my god, this
Like,
is like.
there's
No,
so
this
man.
reminds me
It's
of,
so good.
of a well, Doki Doki Literature Club. Except they did it with the GameCube, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
But like
Yeah.
some of them were
That's
just
great.
the best one that got me when I was like, I was a kid. I probably did something bad, so my parents were grounding me. Like no video games. So it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm playing a scary game in the dark, in secret.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So like they had a fake because everyone had CRT screens.
Mm-hmm.
So as more part of the high fear, a volume bar comes up and it goes ding, ding, da, 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 da,
Yeah.
goes to 0. And you're like, what? And the game is silent. You're like, my TV. So you turn the
Oh
volume
my
up
God.
and like it's not working and it's just silent. And then you walk in like rooms later, it just comes back on like full blast after you turned it
Oh.
down.
That's crazy.
And it's like,
Oh,
The game
no.
tricks you into scaring yourself. There's like a
Yeah.
cockroach that walks across the screen and it feels real.
Oh.
Like,
Wow.
It's so
Oh,
clever.
Yeah, they did a really good. And the
Yeah.
story's awesome. Like
Yeah.
it's really cool. Like you're playing like this like daughter who's like in this mansion that she inherited or something,
Yeah, her
and
father
she's like
died.
reading, and like
Yeah.
reading all these like books, like learning about her past, kind of very
Mhm.
Lovecraftian. And then you play all of the distant relatives who like battle these like
Oh.
ancient timeless evils. And like, so you're kind of going through each of them like throughout the ages, and there's like a Roman guy, and like
Yeah, there's like an Aztec dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we
Really
got
cool.
we got a couple comments. Andrew says, "I've been hearing new Wrong Turn movies coming along in my head. Nope, it's such a bad franchise of movies." Yeah.
Wrong Turn, the one with the truck that kills people? It's a trucker?
I thought that was the one where they.
I thought
like,
Wrong
stuck
Turn
in
was
the
like,
woods
yeah,
and,
that was like
the
Eliza Dushku.
Yeah, it's
right?
like redneck
Yeah.
guys hunting them or something.
I thought that was the Burt Reynolds one.
No, that's Deliverance.
Deliverance.
No, so the one with the
Which
truck,
is
the one with the
also
truck is
right.
Joyride, right?
I don't think so.
No, you're thinking of. I know you're.
Isn't it Paul Walker running from a truck and the truck is chasing him and the bad guy's literally someone in a truck that
Yeah,
is
I
just
thought-
chasing him?
Yeah,
Maybe
I think that's Joyride.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. Garrett's like Eternal Darkness, yes.
Yeah, dude, it's
You know,
good. That
Spiritual
needs a remake.
spiritual successor was Shadow the Internals that was
Yeah,
postponed.
It looked awesome,
Yeah.
but
And then we have another question. Know you discussed multiplayer horror. Do you think the lacking engagement could be improved with something like VR? So you kind of, for
I think
example,
for-
playing with what each sees.
could be. I mean,
I'm not a believer. I mean, maybe horror single player in VR. I'm almost not even a believer in horror in VR.
really?
Only because like I haven't pla-
Killing Floor and Curse.
I haven't played a not goofy game. Like no matter what I do,
Yeah.
because I have so much control and expression, like I can't always be like like a zombie attack. You be like you dodge it or you like dance with them. It's so like
I mean, it is over the top, but I mean,
I
like,
can't fight that urge, and
Yeah.
I can't like. Whereas other games like in Amnesia, I don't have the option to be out of character,
Yeah,
right? Like it's so unconstrained and expressive.
Dude, you gotta get
that-
into the character. You know, you can do this the same thing with haunted houses.
I'm
right?
only me.
You can be like, to
Yeah.
like, the actors, right? But that ruins it, right? Like, I try to go in
Yeah.
and like, this is real. I gotta make it through this. Shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
So-
like,
Well,
it's-
what
it
the
might be
things
mine.
you go to, I think you actually have to make it out. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Like, I think your
Yeah,
stuff is like,
chained to a bed,
Yeah.
over your
Yeah.
head.
yeah, I think your stuff
Oh
is
my
like,
God.
Yeah,
you can easily like break, you can break the immersion in horror very easily.
Yeah.
Right? And,
Yeah, that's
you,
true.
You have to sort of buy into it, right? Like,
Yeah, you like tickle the guy coming after you. You're like, cool doodle. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
got me this time.
There's some stuff where like it's maybe it might just be the way I play games where like I can't help trying to break stuff, so I ruin a lot of think games for myself.
yeah, you gotta
Mm.
think about it, man.
oh yeah,
And Killing Floor is goofy, like especially the enemies
Yeah.
are like after a while you're like there's running up you, you know.
Yeah.
But like the first level when you go into that like abandoned house, I thought that was so cool. I was like,
Yeah.
this is like I'm in a haunted house right now, but it's in VR. I'm exploring this mansion that's like run down and super creepy. And there's no like monsters at the time. Like there's only a few in that part.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And, like it gave me hope for like a cool VR horror experience. I think.
Have you? It's going back to film a little bit. Like, have you guys all seen Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, love
Yeah.
that movie.
Mm.
No, I haven't.
Great.
I refuse to spoil
Okay.
that excellent movie.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm not going to talk about it, but like a game like Cabin in the Woods
Okay.
would be really cool. Maybe multiplayer that way. If you've seen Cabin in the Woods, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where there's the sort of the two factions. and that would create interesting horror because that's like a story element.
Tell you what game I want to make. I want to make Suspiria, a Suspiria-inspired horror game where it's like 70s retro with like neon colors and like and
Sorry.
I think and then like this like weird atmospheric 70s music. Like with like the slasher and you like see his gloves and like these creepy like weird shots. Like I want something like that. Like, that's I think if I make another horror game, it'll be something like that.
Movie wise, it's a movie I haven't seen, which is bad for me to give my opinion on it. But
Okay.
But it's terrible.
I've seen it. No, I saw the trailer. I meant to see it, never saw it, and it's gone through its full cycle of like now I gotta pay to whatever.
Yeah.
We can't pay for digital media anymore. What the heck is the name of it? Where they have to be silent because the creatures.
That was good.
The creatures
The
are
Office 2.
The Office 2. Yeah.
The Office 2. Oh, what is it called?
I can't remember the name of it, but that concept was
Quiet
really
Place.
Quiet
Quiet
Place.
Place.
Yeah. Where it was like any noise, and then they had like the X's marked out on the floorboards for where like they had to step and like that because everything else was creaky, and like it was like everybody like. And then they had to learn sign language to survive through all that. Like, I really want to see that movie, but movie-wise, because that was the question earlier.
You should watch it. But
Yeah.
Hereditary,
Oh.
super terrifying.
Yeah, I heard
was
that. I heard that's pretty good.
Really good.
Hereditary.
Like,
It's about a weird little girl, apparently.
I can't. I'm not even gonna say anything because
Nothing? Okay.
Nothing.
you won't know really what it's about until you watch.
What
Wait, is it movie or
It's a
game?
movie. It's a movie.
Hereditary?
It's got like super high reviews. Like
Is it still in theaters? or-
no, it came out earlier this year, but it's like
Hereditary.
being voted as one of like the top like scariest movies of all time. Like it is
Wow.
super terrifying. It's really really good.
Who's in it?
I'm horrible with people's names.
Okay.
There's some like no.
Colette?
Maybe she's a lady. There's a main
So,
character.
so there's a lady.
There's a lady.
It's that movie
Wow.
with that
I've seen her
actress
in
and those
other
credits at the
movies.
end of it. Yeah.
yeah. At the end, there's all these names.
Yeah, they're all body out of that one.
Yeah.
Like you've watched the trailer and the trailer's intense.
Yeah.
Like, they did
Wow.
a really good job with the sound.
Oh.
And the whole movie is
Sound
like
is
intense.
huge.
Sounds
Yeah,
huge.
sounds a big part.
Okay,
Mandy also, And if
Mandy.
you like movies, watch a trailer for Mandy right now.
Wait.
It's like my favorite movie.
Mandy feels like a bit art, like an old retro game that was
It's
turned into
retro.
a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Wait, it's
neon
really-
colors, weird
Nicolas Cage.
psychedelic
Okay, it's the one
stuff.
where like they live in the woods
Yeah.
and there's this weird like
Good.
gang.
Mm.
I've seen the trailer.
Definitely a
I
cult,
got
but-
really confused.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay,
Alright.
ladies and gents, that's the end of our stream. So
Alright.
we're going to go off stream. I want to find that
Find out
Death
what-
Stranding,
Yeah.
and we're going to
And
find
what's
the
IMMURE? What was the
Yeah,
original
yeah,
title?
we didn't forget that.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for spending your evening and hanging out and talking with us and watching our conversation. Please continue to follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. It's Schell Games for both. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, also Schell Games, where this video is going to live as well. Just a couple events that are coming up on November 6th. It's Tretsy, where we'll be showing our virtual reality lab practice game show, HoloLab Champions. November 5th in New Jersey, our CEO Jesse Schell will be speaking twice about children's interactive media at the Duster Magic. And then at the end of the month, from November 25th to November 30th, we're going to be in Orlando, Florida for the Serious Game Showcase and Challenge, where we're going to be showing HoloLab Champions again. And so we're super excited to be there for that. Follow us on our activities, and if you subscribe to our newsletter, you'll be one of the first audiences to see what we are, what's going on in the studio and what type of fun stuff we're working on. So thank you for hanging out with us. Bye-bye.
Bye.